Hey Stamp friends, welcome to the Joy Stamp with Rachel. I'm Rachel Coon in today's Fun Fold Friday. Today I'll be featuring the Tune In bundle. This is one that was voted as well as a fan favorite for me to give it a try. And I bought it during last month's die and bundle deals. So I'm super excited to show you the card that we made today. It is a slider card, and this was inspired by a Canadian stamper named Brenda. Let me just make sure I don't say her last name wrong. Quintana, where she showed us how to make this amazing slider card, and that's fairly easy. It says "Stay tuned for important message," and then we can grab out the side and it says happy birthday. I'm going to do a little bit of changes to our design for this card, but for the most part this is how it's going to look, which is super fun. Of course, if you are new, please subscribe so you can see all of my Friday videos and my class videos as well. And then also be sure to comment. I love to hear where you're from, and also what you liked about this card, or if you have the stamp set. One lucky person can win the card that we're making in the video today. Now first, I did a lot of prep work because it requires some die cutting, but I will walk you all through it. And below in the comments, or in the description I should say, is a link to my blog that has the measurements. But let's go ahead and start with our card base, which is in that beautiful lemon lime twist. This one is a 8.5 by 5.5 square at 4 1/4. We'll get to this one in just a little bit. Then you'll have a piece of basic white, which I've done some things to already, so let me talk to you about this one. This is a 4 1/4 by 5.5, so the whole front of our card base. And I have a little strip of that amazing Country Woods Designer Series paper to create a wooden floor that our TV is placed on. And then you've noticed that I've stamped and then I've die cut out of the Azure Afternoon, our cute little television. And you'll see that I have right here the die in the center. So what I did was I glued this TV on after I glued on the Designer Series paper to the bottom, glued the TV on so it's sitting on the floor, and then we have it, so I've die cut out at the same time this basic white and the TV, which will then allow us to remove that centerpiece to create that fun window for our slider card. Okay, that's the step where we are at to this point. Let's go ahead and do some more stamping, and I'm going to change it up a little bit. So for this one I had died cut and then I did a little stamping behind, and I'm not really sold on it. So I want to try something different, and we are going to grab my foam mat because I'm always losing it, but that's my, oh, there it is. And we're going to set this on top of there so we can get some nice clean images. And then we are going to grab our Memento ink just to help tie in some of these color pieces a little bit. Have you ever made a card and you're like, I like it, but I don't love it? So I want to love this card that we sent out to one happy watcher today. I'm using Memento ink, the same color I used for the TV and for the antenna. We'll do here in just a little bit. I have these fun little lightning bolts here. They also have in this one kind of like a star look. I tried that one for the background and I wasn't super sold on it. So we are going to do the lightning bolts again. But this time I'm not going to die cut them out. I'm just going to stamp them around the TV to make it look like it's a exciting noise that's been shut out. If you want to, you could even die cut this with the basic black, and that would work as well. Okay, loud noise coming out of TV. We have one right here at the top. Nice. And we could leave it with just one, and that could look good, or I could do two. What are your thoughts? Let's go ahead and do two. We're gonna be brave. Okay, stamp down. I did a little bit of wiggle there, but it still looks pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, that should be it for this stamping right now. I'm going to set this ink aside. We'll get it out in just a minute again. And we are going to finish embellishing our TV. So I've stamped a cute little antenna, the old school antenna, on that lemon lime twist. We're going to use a little bit of liquid glue and put it to the back. A little bit there. and flip it over. Make sure it's resting on the TV. You can either, I put it directly on the TV itself. You could put it on the top of it and still look like it's on the top. It's up to you. Let me know if you ever owned a TV kind of like this one. We had one down in my basement when I was a little girl living in Idaho, and it didn't have a remote control to it. So anytime we wanted to change a channel, we had to go and turn these little knobs. It'd be so fun to see a TV like this again in the real world, because this is definitely not the normal TVs we have anymore. Okay, I'm loving it already, even more so than this one. So I'm loving that we've added that black there. Kind of just make it pop out more. If we wanted to, we could have added some of these die cut as well, but I think we're just going to leave it as is. Okay. Now we can set this one aside for a minute and show you the slider piece. I have a piece of basic white here that measures at 5.5, so the same width, or length I should say, as our card front, by 3, and then I have it scored at 2 locations. So when I scored it, I had it at the 3/8, and then I turned it in my paper trimmer and I scored it again at 3/8. And that's how you create this fun sliding mechanism that we're going to use. We will need to grab our bone folder to help us crease and press down our paper here. This is going to create a little kind of like a pocket. And some slider cards will have a stopper. This one is a free flowing slider card because we're going to keep it fairly simple. The downside is that it could fall back out on this other side here. So just be mindful. Right there, it can go out that way too, but hopefully most people will know to grab it right here where that notch is. Okay, I like to use tear tape because I feel like it's a strong adhesive. It doesn't have any dry time. So I'm gonna put tear tape on both of these. If you wanna use liquid glue, you totally could. And because I don't like to measure anything, I just eyeball. No, I do measure some things. Oh, and this one's almost gone, so I need to grab another one. 1 second. Hold that thought. Luckily, I always have multiple adhesives around because you never know when you're going to run out. You should never buy just one, right? You should always buy 2 of everything. Okay, not everything, but at least 2 of each adhesive. That one I didn't go long enough, so I'll do a little bonus piece here. Okay. And then we'll put some on here, even though we're only remove 1 backing right now. And there we go. Nice, nice. If you want to double check, make sure your slider is the right size. You grab your piece of other basic white, and sure enough, it will fit. Okay. Now we're going to flip this one over to the back side, and we're going to remove just the backing of the one of our sliders here. And this one's going to be the most important one, so make sure we do this one right. And if I had liquid glue, it would allow me some wiggle room, but we're not using liquid glue. So I'm just going to use my grid sheet line here, and I'm going to, actually we're going to turn it because it's easier for me to see. Here's the bottom piece. It doesn't matter bottom or top where you start, but I don't want this white piece going over our TV line here. So I'm going to carefully line it up there on one side, making sure it's not being seen through. And then I'm gonna look at here in my grid sheet, and I'm gonna mark this line there and mark it at the bottom, so that way it'll be fairly straight. If by chance this is showing through, we'll just grab our paper snips and do a little trim. So we'll flip it over, and that looks pretty good. There's a little bit of shine through here, so I'll show you how you just grab your paper snips and do a quick trim, and that shouldn't show anymore. Nice. Okay. Next part, remove the next backing on the top part of our slider. I want to call it a bed, a slider bed, because that's where the sliding part's going to lay into sleep. And then we'll just press it down flat and have it going like so. Again, flip it over, see if there's anything covering it out from the front side that we can see. Looks pretty good. Now we need to grab our punch. You can use lots of different sizes of punch. I have a 1-inch punch that I like to use, and I don't use it completely into it though. So we're just going to go line it up here, and luckily this is about the same width, so I know that that's going to be the center of our TV. And I'm going to go pretty far into my basic white though. And I'm going to punch out both that slider sled where things are going to lay and the front of this card here. And punch them both out. And that will be where my thumb can then later grab and slide out the card. Okay. All right, now let's grab our piece of basic white and we're going to put it in here in our little slider bed all the way in and grab a pencil. Which of course, mine has found it. Always walking away, right? And we're gonna lightly trace the inside of our TV here. Okay, pinch it, pull it, slide it out so we can have our spot. And we wanna see all of what we just traced there. And then we'll trace again. So we want the full message coming through. Go and pull it all the way out. And now grab our foam mat and we're gonna do some more stamping here. The first one's gonna be the first message we want to be seen. So stay tuned for important message, or you could have done newsflash, you're super, or newsflash, you're classic, or any type of combo you want for this one. Let's go ahead and grab our Memento ink back into the camera and our stay tuned for important message. All right, ink that up. And go right between our pencil lines. Press down and lift up. Turned out nice. And happy birthday, because I love happy birthday. And that's one of the cards I send the most. And in fact, I think I know who I want to send mine to already for a September birthday. So we're planning. And then we're gonna put happy birthday right in the center of our other penciled trace lines. Lift up, looks great. You could keep it like that and it would be fabulous. However, if you want to add an extra color, grab your stamping blends. I grabbed a balmy blue and I grabbed a lemon lime twist. And we're going to just highlight those stamped words we made. And it doesn't matter which way you want to do each one. I'm going to switch it up. So this one this time is going to have the lemon lime twist on the top. But I am going to use not the brush side, but the bullet side, more of a writing. And just do some highlighting here. So going around my S and coloring it in a little bit. Same with my T. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just highlighting those already stamped letters to give it just some extra color. I'm gonna go all the way across and do my happy as well. Around each P and our Y. I like to color in the whole center of the Y here for that one. Okay, put the lid back on that one and grab your balmy blue light, or if you have the Azure Afternoon or Pool Party, anything that's in that same kind of family. I just didn't want it to be too dark so that we couldn't, like that the black was just gone, you know. We want just to highlight, think highlighter colors. If you're in a hurry, you definitely could just like go straight across and make it as if you're highlighting, but I do like it letter by letter. But I'm really sloppy, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Here's our birthday on the other side. Coloring that one in a little bit more. This is such a fun tip, and this is what Brenda from Canada did also on hers. Speaking of Canada, that's where my daughter is right now for her senior trip. Super, super fun times. All right, this is my fun white eraser. Every crafter / stamper should have one of these in their craft room. Either this size or like the actual eraser size ones, traditional. But I like this one because I can make it come and go as I want, and it kind of keeps it clean. But I'm just erasing those pencil lines with it, and I love, so the tip is white erasers on white paper, and that's what helps keep it clean and you can't see, versus like a pink eraser on the back of your number 2 pencil that could cause a little bit of coloration. So you want to avoid those if you're erasing on the basic white. Okay, we'll clean that off. Looks pretty good. You would never know. I did some tracing. Before we put this back in though, let's go ahead and add our card base here. So I wanted it to match with our cute little pieces we have. And so we have our card base, but you could have it that as your afternoon. Putting some liquid glue on all these pieces here on the back. And we're gonna flip it over and attach it to our card front. If you'd wanted to, you could have used dimensionals, give you a little bit of extra pop here, but I'm perfectly content with the liquid glue. Just now you're gonna shimmy it, make sure it looks good. And you'll notice now we can see our thumb spot right here, and keeping it still folded, so we're not gonna do the back side. Grab your punch again, and just do line it up where it is, and punch that part out. That way we have that available to still pull through. Okay, that should be drying. I'm gonna carefully fold it over. Grab my bone folder, help me crease. There we go, nice. And let's stick that message into our slider. And there we go, stay tuned for an important message. We'll grab it with our thumb and pull the happy birthday. So cute. All right, you guys will have to let me know which one you prefer. The ones with either the stamped lightning bolts or the die cuts. I'm kind of digging this one, and you could embellish even more. You could add some rhinestones. You can do whatever you want to this one. But this is the basic for that sliding with the Stay Tuned. Isn't that fun? I hope you guys have loved learning how to make this. And again, thank you to Brenda in Canada for showing us how to do it first. And if you're in the US, please shop with me at my online store for all the supplies you saw in today's video. Have a wonderful day and happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.